Hey guys, JannLee here again. We're going to do another combo cage series. This is going to be 3-minute time limit up against mastertan. We've done a couple series already. Yeah, he's been performing really well in the tournaments. This is probably one of the strongest opponents I can take on. He's very knowledgeable in the openings, very knowledgeable middle game. Yep, there's no easy way against this opponent. The only way is through. That's how I see it. So here, yeah, we have a first hand e4, e5 opening. He's deviated with his bishop b4 move, which I would thought he might be contemplating. And I think the idea would be to distract this c pawn and then capture here and attack on f3. I'm not actually too familiar with this, so I need to figure out how I want to play against it. Now what my mind's thinking is whether I should make a capture here first, because it may be more useful to have a knight on d5. Yeah, I'm gonna capture and play knight at d5. And I've improved the position of his queen here. And now pawn at h3 might become something to be concerned about. So this is interesting. I'm in some unfamiliar territory here, and knight at h4 is looking a little bit dangerous. So I think he's just checking what the best continuation is. Yeah, I expected knight h4, and I was more concerned about that one. Now, if queen h3, pawn at f3 is probably coming in, which then threatens knight at e2. So I actually have half a mind here to actually give up the queen. And that way I'll have a knight in hand. Now I can't give it up here because knight at h3 will mate me afterwards. So I'm actually going to play queen g3. I'm going to allow knight at e2. And the idea is if I have a knight in hand, knight at e7 will be a playable check to threaten a queen later on. And if he does play some form of, I'm thinking knight at e2, king h1, knight takes g3, h takes g3. If queen h5, I'll still have knight at f6 later. I just need to be sure if I should take with one way or the other. Maybe it's actually better taking with f. Because that gives a bit more coverage to f3, it prevents the queen h5 check. Most of the time you'd capture with the h pawn without thinking, but in this occasion I think taking this way is better. The key piece being if pawn at f3, knight at e7 may be playable. So my problem is after king h7 and I take the queen, I'm not giving check, and he'll get a check on me. I think I'd be closer to being mated if this h2 pawn was over here, because I wouldn't have the coverage of this rook. Though it's not absolutely clear. In any case, pawn f3 here, I can actually take it, so there is a difference. Now I don't want to give the knight straight away. Yeah, I think I'll just play rook g1. Queen at f1, or I can play bishop e3. So he's covered off the e7 threat. So now I'm short on time. So I'm going to play bishop e3 to keep my back rank completely covered. I'm also threatening to take this. Okay. Make a hit on his queen now. We're both short on time now, so time's critical. I think I'm able to trap his queen. Alright. I've got some nasty checks that can come out. Let's take this one. Yeah, now he's made it. Yeah, so I'm happy with how I finished that game. Had to cover at the back accurately first. Giving up that queen I think was a good decision. But we had a sharp finish right at the end. Okay. So this is new, this a3 bishop a4 idea. Mastertan's very good at being inventive. I think it's a new position to both of us. Point being a3 prevents b4 hitting the knight, because this knight's the only defender of e4. Pardon me, I need to cough. Okay, so h4 allows bishop g4 to come in, and a check. That's something that can be captured or not. So I could just back off the g8. That's not too bad as well. Then h6 falls. No, I'm going to bite the bullet and take this, and then try to hold on to the extra piece. So my idea is if he plays f3, I'm going to play knight at g3 to hit the rook. And what that will also do is prevent g4 from being played to mount more pressure here. And if he plays pawn at f3, I might take it. Yeah, so in this case I'm going to play knight at g3. If he captures the knight, I take with the bishop. Okay. So, looking for a sharp move here. I think taking on d4 would be best. If I get passive here, I think I'm going to be worse off. So let's not be passive then. Okay. I'm now wondering if I should have taken with the bishop first. Would be a critical move. Yeah, I think bishop takes d4 first was more accurate because would have allowed better attacking opportunities. As a whole lot of pieces just came off. I need to take the queen with check. I'm trying to liquidate the attack on side. Queen e2. Maybe bishop c3 is most accurate. This is really sharp stuff. Every move counts here. Yeah, there's mate threats on both sides. There's a double check here, which could be quite lethal for me. I don't see much else. Alright, I may have to run the king up right into the open. Try to survive there. If he allows it. Yeah, I think bishop c3 is a critical move. Or maybe living. No, I think it's busted. Yeah, he's done too well there. Nice play. He's got mate in one at the end. No, it was just a good tactical battle there. He got through first. I'm not sure if I made an inaccuracy at some stage. Really good game though. I like this. Okay. Now I'm going to block on e2 because I'm expecting knight at f4 to come in, and I want to be able to cover this one. The pawn at d3 looks a little bit dangerous. I think I can take it and get away with king f1. And I want to be able to play a move like d3 myself to open up my own potential. So if black doesn't capitalize on the initiative at the moment, then white will untangle fairly quickly. So I have to go for something like d3 to get active. This knight's a thorn in my side at the moment. Okay, I've missed this move though, which hurts quite a lot. Do I have something active myself with something like knight at d5? I think I've got to try. So, yeah, king takes e2, g takes f3 looks more or less mated because of knight at d4 that would follow. So knight at d5 does two things. It attacks here and also covers c3. I don't really see a mating threat yet for white, but yeah, black does need to be cautious because white has a queen in hand. So both sides need to play accurately here. If he captures here, which he hasn't, let's not worry about that for now. I'll worry about playing the position. I think now I can capture this. Doesn't look great. I'm going to lose this rook here, and with that comes more checks. King f1, 22. Try to defend this way. I think queen takes h2 look good there. I'm going to run out here. I preferred queen takes h2, which is also fine. I'm not willing to part with this knight. It's too useful to me. Bishop f4 just cuts off this attacking line because that could be useful later. Bishop at h3 is coming. Yeah, it's just a good solid move. Queen g6, I'll block with bishop g3. He's going to allow knight c7. I don't know he's got enough to mate though. Bishop h3 takes. Yeah, I'm going to be greedy and take this. I'm running short on time, but I don't feel he's got the goods to mate me with. He needs another pawn, which he doesn't have. And now I'll be threatening mate somewhere on the back. Yeah, so I've got mate now. If the king ran up to e6, queen at d5 was mating, so that I had too much material in hand and he was a pawn short of mate. So a bit of a sharp finish there. But I did come out on top. Okay. So here he played a new setup. So there's this knight g5 idea again. I didn't mind it too much. Let's give this a go. I think if f3 again, pardon me, I'm still playing knight at g3. I think the improvement is bishop takes d4. And the point is, if he takes here, bishop at e3 is playable, which covers the knight, so he's not allowed that. But now I might be able to attack with something myself. So something like bishop at b6, bishop at c5. Yeah, I like the look of putting a pawn on f2, particularly with one rook that's come off the back. Bishop at e5 was another possibility. And the reason why I've chosen c5 specifically is because if he takes, it will open up another line for the queen. Otherwise, if bishop at b6, yeah, it's probably still not attractive to take this because of the holes in white's position, but yeah, it's just one of those subtleties. The recapture opens up more in the event that was an option. So, queen d1, I think bishop e3 is accurate. It's simply threatening pawn at f2 mate, but if he covers it, pawn at d2 would win the queen. And that's a form of progress. Taking g5 is also an option, potentially. Material, if you look at it, is actually, at this moment, entirely balanced. Here's a matter of determining what should be captured. The pawn at d2 is reasonable already. Wins the queen. The queen at d4 will win some more material either on f2 or c4. Can't defend both. And so here I feel this is an improvement over the previous game. Still a lot of fighting to go, but it's much better. Alright, so I've got pardon me, I've got the queen in hand, but I do need to be very active here, or else I'm just not going to have any attack potential, and he pretty much takes all the pieces. So let's... Yeah, I need to keep capturing things. I think it's good to hit this bishop to discourage the capture of this one. My queen itself will become a target if I don't improve soon. Okay. A bit of safety on my king, but also attacking here. And now that the time's getting low, so we've got to move. Oh, I've just dropped the queen, that's not great. Running short on time and maybe not playing the best moves. Okay. Lots to look at, lots to think about here. Oh, this is difficult. I'm not seeing the way through. Oh, Queen of G7's mainly. Just run short on time. He's played that really well, and I've just allowed time to tick down, but I was convinced that black was stronger with a difficult way forward. A nice game there from mastertan. Alright, I want to try to lift my pace earlier in the game so I allow myself enough time for the critical positions. I'd say mastertan's probably one of the best middle game players out there. He's not concerned on playing the longest line, the toughest line, the sharpest line. Sacked a piece here early. There's d5, but I think white's able to trade a lot of things off. It does look quite dangerous. So I'm going to hit here, and the idea is knight at f6 may be an idea. So while this fork is potentially winning a piece back longer term, there may be some tactics that prevent that from happening. So knight at f6 is a possibility. I think I like this way. Pawn at f6 first. We might capture one of these, but I don't mind taking and having a pawn on the 7th rank. Knight at f6 was also playable, then king f8, pawn at h6, and knight f5. Okay, so the check. I want to threaten to recapture this one. Otherwise, knight f5 is looking a little bit safer for him. So having this not here will and potentially being replaced with a white bishop will make sure that there's weaknesses around the black king. Okay. So if I capture this, he might capture the queen. I don't think there's any mate threats with knight at f3, so I'm going to capture it. Knight at g2 check, king f1. Looks fairly safe and sound. And then there'll be too much on his own king. Yeah, so he's realised there he's moved into some tactics that aren't favourable. But that all started with knight takes e4 where he parted with a piece. Okay, he's cracked my perk defense a couple times, so let's have another go at it. Yeah, I might change here. I'm going to play knight e4 against bishop c4. You can play d5 to win it back. And it's nothing special, just something different, because I felt that he's got a pretty decent strategy, which is leading to some complications in the other line. Would be happy to go into the other line again, though. It's coming up with some great games. Okay, so what my mind's thinking is bishop takes, yeah, queen takes, pawn at h6. Oh no, you can't play that yet. He has to cover his knight. But pawn at h6 may come later. It's just an open position, unknown to both players, and we're going to have to figure out what the best way forward is here. So I could choose to expend a bishop here, or I could play a check. Yeah, I'm gonna go with queen e6. It's not a great move because it blocks this, and d5 is still playable. But right now I just want to be able to develop these pieces. That move hasn't really helped, but it just gives me one more tempo. Yeah, I'm going to play a funny looking move, knight c6. If d5, I'm actually going to sack the queen and get the knight active. If knight at h6, I can play king h8. Theoretically, probably not great, but practically, I think it gives black some opportunities, some activity. So importantly, this knight's covering f7. Otherwise, knight at h6 would look quite strong for white. After the capture and capture, g7 is quite weak. Now I want to try to show that that knight's a little bit overextended. I might get some play on the light squares. A funny game where you can make a positional sacrifice of the queen for a pawn and a piece. It's really just because you can place pieces on the board. Okay, so this knight's under attack, so I need to cover f7, or otherwise threaten to capture this. And I think I prefer to defend f7. That's just adding another defender here. I'm happy to remain compact here. I'd like to get pawn at g5 in and kick this knight away. Maybe pawn at f3 is a better idea. No, before opening up, I'm going to cover my house. That's my only thorn at the moment. That's where the knight coverage comes in. So queen at g8 still doesn't work. Put a knight on g4. Yeah, here he comes with trying to remove this knight off f7. Yeah, that doesn't work. Yeah, he slipped up there. And this clearly looks better for black now. Yeah, this is mate. So yeah, that's a bad blunder, queen at g8. I think he thought he had some trick with knight takes d6, but unfortunately queen at h2 is mate in 1. And the other thing was I could just play bishop takes h6 and knight takes f7 wouldn't be mate because of king g7. Okay, so I played this against Opelwesen as well earlier today. This is a more passive line c3, but excuse me, lesser known among the top players. It's just to create more originality in play. Okay. So I like Queen B3 here to hit this. I think I'll play it. These are potential weaknesses in future. Queen E7's fine. It's nothing special yet. Let's back the bishop off. Yeah, I think I'll cash in here. I'll capture this bishop on B6. You could try bishop at H3, but I'm not convinced that it works. Okay, now he's got a mate threat actually, so Queen G2, like with the knights coming in here, going to be mate. I can't play bishop at F5, or else knight at E2, king H1, queen takes G2 check, king takes G2, knight at F4, king H1, and pawn at G2 mate. So this needs to be covered. I think bishop at G3 is most appropriate. Against this, I'm going to move the knight so I don't have that as an issue. I get a free hit on the queen. And now this is something that must be defended. Just keeping an eye on it. I'm going to move in. Now before an attack gets rolling on my king, I've got a knight covering here, a bishop covering here, so I've got a really solid defense. I can actually afford to sacrifice a little bit of material to try to get in. If rook takes bishop at G6, looks just fine. If queen takes, I'll capture and play something like pawn at G6 again. So I need to try to strike on the light squares while I still have an opportunity, well before an attack rolls on my king. And just to explain the importance of the bishop on G3, there's often, when queens come off the board, things like knight at H3, and with a bishop here, it prevents the smothered mate idea, which is normally queen at G1, rook F1, knight F2. So this is a nice defensive piece. Now he's already realised he's in a little bit of strife here, so he's trying to attack. I'm not keen on capturing this knight with either piece. If knight F3, bishop F3 is dangerous for me. GF3, yeah, I need to sidestep that. He may capture this and give up the queen, and then try to attack with bishop at H3. If I capture it, bishop here, yeah, I will capture it though. Takes bishop F3. I think that's getting mated. I'm going to cover with the rook. Now my critical piece is hitting f3, which is not allowed there. Played this quite nicely actually. Okay, I've got safety now. Try to hit him. Cover off rook at g1, mate. Yeah, he ran low on time at the end there, but yeah, it was a bit of a tactical struggle because he had a lot of mate threats on the king with bishops and knights. So I'm glad to pull that one out. Alright, we'll go down this path again. Don't mind it. Now you can play bishop f7 as well. This is all relatively unexplored. This, and I like to let the viewers know exactly when I got no idea what's going on, because I think it's great that there's still so much that's undiscovered in this game. The regular opening theory of chess doesn't apply here because you can put pieces on the board and that creates new possibilities. And you can see from the time he's spending, it's unknown to him. So, alright, he's allowed me to pick up a clean pawn, so I wonder if he's planning some kind of sacrifice. No? Alright, we're going to pin this. So my eye's looking at d4. He has a lot on his king side, so I can't blow him up yet. Like a piece sacrifice I can take. I'm not concerned about knight g5, queen h5. This is a nice move though. So the idea being that I'm just going to part with it. This just threatens now to capture bishop g4. But take it and take here. Knight g5. How many things does he have in hand? He'll have two bishops, so knight g5 would be dangerous. So I'm thinking bishop takes, bishop takes. He'll have two bishops in hand. If I take this, then he can play knight g5. And he's threatening mate. Yes, well, I'll just keep it simple. Like pawn g7. So my king's a little bit exposed, but I'm basically here asking the question of white to try to find checkmate with limited material. I think he would opt to trade queens. Question is if it's dangerous for him. Here I'll have enough to get an attack rolling with knight at e2. He takes and allows me to trade off queens. And I do need to be accurate with this. If I play too passively here, white just gets too much pressure on the dark squares, so I do need to, in a sense, call him out on his bluff if this queen trade's actually better for me than it is for him. Okay, pawn at f6. A nice idea. So this is how he's avoiding the queen trade, which is probably identified as not as good for him. Now I don't mind this because I've got a king here. If he doesn't have a rook, queen, or knight, it's hard for him to hit. He's just got diagonal pieces. So yeah, I want to keep it that way while trying to make progress on his king. So I've got a trick here where I'm going to get my queen on. If he plays pawn at g2, he'll get mated. So takes, pawn at g2, there's bishop at h2 check, king h1, bishop takes e5, then g takes queen, and then I've got what moves here, and he's actually seen the mate, I think, which is why he's avoiding it. In the meantime, he's actually trapping my queen, which isn't ideal. Do I have any tricks here? Alright, let's hope this works. I think it's close. Oh, it's really making me play it out. Alright, short on time. It's all about time now. Oh, yeah, I won it in a time scramble there. I don't think he should have played queen takes h2. It was still a fighting chance before he gave up the queen. And in the end, he just didn't have material to even attack me with. Alright, so I've had a streak of 4 wins here, so I want a bit of a roll. Okay, bishop h4. Am I losing a queen somewhere with tricks on the dark squares? Or maybe I just... Yeah, maybe I just allow knight g3. So he's got 2 choices, or 3 choices. He can either back off to e7, which is alright, take with the knight, or take with the bishop. He's taken with a knight. So h3 is adequately covered as an entry point. He could take the knight and play knight at h2, but I don't think that's a quick way in. So I can defend against that one. Questions if I take with the bishop or the queen. Queen is more accurate to guard f4. Now he's attacking e3. I'll play knight takes d5. Yes, I want to. Now after... Oh dear, I'm just hanging a queen here, aren't I? Oh, this is possibly even more accurate. I think knight d5 is actually a really big mistake. Or maybe it isn't. Knight e3 is my problem where I can't take his queen. So I'm trying to now distract this knight off e3 so I can capture it. But I was thinking knight takes d4, then I had knight f6. Yeah, maybe it's knight d5's just okay hanging on by a thread for practical play. But yeah, there were definitely a lot of things that I missed. So okay, I picked up the queen. The queen at d8's the direct threat. He's got a lot of pieces in hand, so I do need to attack. I think white does stand better here though, because now e7 is a renewed threat. Now, I'm getting mated with knight takes e3 if I don't attend to that. I'm looking for a mate that might be obscure here, but I'm not seeing it. So probably best just to patch up this mate threat. If knight at h2, I'm considering king g1. Okay, should take this one now. That's interesting. So now he's got knight at d2. That was the point. Okay, so I've got to play king g1 or king e1. This is trouble. Okay. I'm going to tuck my king here, just to avoid any more checks. Maybe king takes h2 is alright, but for this. Okay, no easy play. Alright, I've got to move here. I think there's mates somewhere. I just need to actually not lose on time. And this knight now covers g3, so I'm safe from any form of attack. I'm not sure this is correct. Still don't see mate. I must have missed mate somewhere here. I think I've let this game get away. Oh, tight scramble at the end there. He was trying to flag me with a few checks on the back rank, but I was expecting him at the right time. That now takes my streak to 5, but I was disappointed in how I played the last one. I felt that I should be mating at some point, and I didn't capitalise on it. Now, normally CD is just fine, but I'm looking for something more. Here threatening knight d4 to distract off h2. If knight e4, something like queen b4 might be okay, or even just backing the queen off. I think I prefer hitting a piece. Yeah, can I be greedy and grab here? Why not? Let's have a go. Excuse me. Okay, heading into some dangerous waters here, but I've got this bishop still covering. I just have to be very careful because things can go south pretty quickly with all the activity. So I'm looking at queen d4, bishop d4, knight at h6, knight takes h6, bishop h6. Now, while this bishop on d4 would still be defending g7, it now opens up the threat knight at f6 check, which would threaten queen at g7 mate. So if bishop h6, I have to decide if I can counter-attack. I don't think that's a simple one. Okay, because this knight covers f2, which makes it more difficult for me to get in. Take this one. I'll try to attack him on the back rank first. Now he's got no direct mate threat with checks here at the moment. I've got too much coverage on f6. He can't take me yet because I'll get the check first. Check here doesn't do much because I just play rook f7. Now if he chooses to move the bishop, which he hasn't, so he should preserve this rook. That's a correct play. I've got to stay aggressive and hit here. So I'm basically committed. There's a possibility I could back off, but having invested a pawn here, I want to continue attacking. If there's a move like bishop g5, I'll probably take a1. And now in this situation I like to get my opponent to force having a queen in the corner. That way at least there's one queen less that's in play. But in this case I'd probably prefer to have the queen in my hand. So how to make progress from here? Knight at d1. This threatens queen at f1. And knight f2 perhaps. Have I got something else? Queen at f1. Yeah, I'm spending a long time on this move. Alright, pawn at e3. quite quick against that. Yeah, I've got to be careful. I'm gonna have to stop here. Hey, Belle. Alright. Hang on, Belle. Daddy's nearly done. Alright, he's... Yeah, hold on, Dad. Hey. Daddy's nearly finished. Hold on. Yeah, okay, hold on. Alright, I've got to stop there, guys. I've got a screen chart, so I'll see you again soon.